profile optimization. Wow. Congratulations, Renee.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm Greg Bostic. I'm the director of the Tennessee Small Business Development Center here in Knoxville. Our center is funded by the Small Business Administration federally and hosted locally by Pell City State Community College. Being federally and state grant funded, we offer our services to our clients and the small business community at no cost. You've already paid for them with your tax dollars. We're very pleased that you're here today for this class. J. Rachel West is going to be leading you and guiding you and understanding all of this good stuff about social media. I know enough about social media to know that I'm not really good at it. So I'm hoping to learn with you as well. At the end of the class, you'll get after the class, you'll get a survey from us, and you have notepads in front of you. I see some people brought their own. Don't worry about scribbling madly. You'll get a copy of this presentation if you complete the survey. And when you complete that, we ask you what topics would help benefit your small business going forward, so we can craft other classes to meet your needs. That's, quite honestly, feedback is how we came up with one of these. So enjoy. I'm going to hush now because there's a lot to unpack. And again, enjoy this session. Rachel is a fabulous presenter, so thank you.
Yeah, we love new batteries. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm super excited to talk about how we are going to optimize your social media profiles. Now, this is a hands-on workshop. Love the orange, by the way. Love it. Go Vols. This is a hands-on presentation. I highly encourage you to get your laptops out, get your phones out, because we are actually optimizing in this class. Okay? Sound good? Cool. So I wanted to go a little bit about me so you know who you're looking at this hour. So a little bit about me. My background is in marketing. I have 2 degrees in it. I have 12 plus years experience in the industry. I have worked with random clients all the way from aviation to makeup brands, you name it. I've probably done it in some form or fashion. And now I own my own agency, my own marketing agency, which I'm really proud about. So, you know, going from a corporate background into owning a business has been a wonderful transition. But the thing I love most about owning my own agency is the fact that I get to tailor my own approach. And that's actually what we'll see in the next slide, because for me, I'm all about 3 components of a business. And we'll talk about that in a second. But of course, some fun facts. I have 2 cats. They are the love of my life, and my husband, but you know, mostly my cats. I've actually had the honor and blessing of going to 67 countries. I've got a few more listed for next year, so if you need travel recommendations, let me know. And then, of course, I'm a huge Vols fan, so we got a big game coming up this weekend, all right? So everybody tune in. So a little bit about what we're going to cover today. I'm going to give you a little bit of a snapshot of those 3 components that I just mentioned. Then we're going to talk about why our profiles actually matter. There are other things than just being present on social media that we need to take into consideration. And then we're going to talk a little bit about SEO. Now, it's not going to be super complex, I promise, but it is going to be important to our overall strategy. And then we'll get into the hands-on portion. So that'll be me walking around helping. If at any point you have a question, raise your hand, let me know. This is a back and forth conversation, because if you have that question, I bet somebody else does. So, open forum here. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this framework that I have actually, kind of created myself, because one of the things that I noticed, and maybe you all have too, working with different marketing agencies, is that we have these 3 silos. We have the branding silo. So we've got your brand strategists. And then we have our marketing strategists and our marketing agencies. And then we have our paid ad agencies and our social media agencies and all those things. But there's nobody that's doing all 3. Nobody that is looking at the entire flow of all 3 of these components. How does this relate to our social media profiles? Wonderful question. I'm so glad you've asked. So even though we are starting in this visibility component category, whatever term you'd like to use, we are here in our social media. one of the things that you'll see me say, or hear me say throughout this presentation is we have to understand who we are, what the core of our businesses is, so that we can tailor a message, create a message that we then use our marketing tools to then reach the audience through our visibility, our targeted visibility. So it's almost like a step by step. And the reason why this is so important for today is because we are going to use our branding as the cohesive strategy across our profiles. So that's going to look like making sure we have the same handle across all profiles, making sure our profile picture is the same across all of our profiles. Are we using the same messaging? All of that in the branding aspect is what then drives our marketing. Because if we don't know who we are and who we serve, how can we build offers and services? If you don't know who you are and why you're in business, how are you going to help other people? So it's almost like you're flying, you know, you got to help yourself with the oxygen mask before you can help others, because that's basically what this is. And then, of course, we use the visibility to then use our marketing strategy. Is this kind of making sense? Is this flow, you know, kind of landing? I really wanted us to talk about this because what I've learned as I've built my agency, I've only been running my agency for 3 years full time. I'm actually this is technically my first month in my 4th year. So the reason why I bring this up is because feedback from my client has been, Rachel, we don't know why we're doing what we're doing, you know? And so I want to bring this education piece into it. Are we good? Any questions, comments, concerns? Let's move on. So now we're going to get into kind of the meat and potatoes of this whole class. Why does any of it matter? You know, social media is such a heartache for some of us. It's so daunting. It's so difficult for some of us. It's not what we're here to do. You know, you all are business owners because you found your passion. Marketing is mine, but it might not be yours. You know, accounting for sure is not mine. So I hire experts to help me, you know, with my accounting. So one of the things that is so important when we're looking at our social media is to realize it is one of the first places people go to check to make sure you're a legit business. Are you real? When was the last time you posted? Do you have a profile picture? What is your handle? Does it match the display name? All of those things are, whether you want to believe it or not, are little aspects of how people view your credibility. So we have to realize this. My suggestion, and this is going to sound harsh, but this is true, if you're not going to use the platform, delete it. Delete it. Because I would rather not find you on Facebook, on Instagram, than find a profile that looks like a scam. So the next bullet point is that this, again, it's your first impression. In some extent, it really is your first impression. Studies show that you have about 3 seconds to capture someone's attention. In my opinion, it is way less than that. You are lucky if you get 3 seconds with somebody. So how are you going to make that first impression? If your profile picture is, you know, if you're a hairstylist and your profile picture is like of a clown hair, you know, a clown with hair, like unless you do clown makeup, you know, whatever, I'm not going to trust you. So you have to be strategically thinking about what you are presenting online. And again, even if you get a referral or somebody knows you in your industry, they are still going to look you up. They're still going to say, hey, is this person credible? Is this somebody I want to work with? Is this somebody I want to give my money to? Or give a follow to, because we know people are thinking that way. They're like, I only want to follow accounts that really are going to move me one way or the other. How can we be strategic about that? Again, going back to that branding, you know, I'm trying to you see the flow here we're trying to go for. So now that we know people are looking at us online, we need to create a brand, a cohesive brand strategy that welcomes people in, but also helps them remember who you are. when I go to LinkedIn, if I look up a business on LinkedIn, I want to see the exact same thing on Facebook in terms of profile, in terms of, is it the same profile picture? Is it the same cover picture? Where is that cohesion? Are they talking to me using the same vocabulary? Is the tone one way or the other? All of these things are sending credibility points to your target audience. So when we don't have these key, these key core competencies of our branding foundation, how are we going to find our audience? How are they going to find us? And we have to know who we are. What is the core? Why am I doing what I'm doing? For me, I love helping people. That's why I love to do these classes, because I'm a big advocate that education should be accessible. That's a pillar of mine. That's something I stand on. So because of that, I use that across my branding. And a lot of my social media, you'll see it's very education-based. It's very steal my strategy based, because I want you to be successful. It might be different. Maybe yours is something completely different, but whatever it is, find it and use it and run with it. And again, like we talked about, we have to make sure that our profiles are showing that we are an active, legit business. Because again, none of this will matter. None of your branding efforts will matter. None of your marketing efforts, nothing will matter if you're not showing up consistently, however that looks like to you. Maybe that's you post once a week on a Monday. Whatever that looks like, stick to it. Because that's how your audience is going to know, hey, okay, I can expect that this post is going to come out. Or again, if somebody goes to your profile, they can see, oh, this person every single Monday or every week, this person posts. Okay, they're real, they're legit, So it's, again, building that credibility, building the authority that you are the expert in your niche. So how are we actually going to do that? I've hinted a little bit about what it actually means to optimize. But at the end of the day, we have to build a foundation. That's it. We have to build a foundation for our social media platforms that uses our branding, that uses our marketing strategy, and now we're creating targeted visibility. All of those three components go together, no matter what project you're using. Now, this piece, if at any time you have questions, please raise your hand, let me know. You can take a picture of this, whatever you need to do. We're going to talk a little bit about SEO. So, search engine optimization. Now, you might be thinking, Rachel, social media is not a search engine. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. How many times do you go on Instagram and you're like, funny guy with a hat or like funny cat picture, and it pops up. It always pops up, exactly what you're looking for. That's because social media is now a search engine. Search engines are your Bings, your Googles, your Yahoos, those types of platforms. So, do you want me to pose while you take the picture? Yeah. How do they work? So, basically what happens, someone is entering a keyword, social media experts near me or whatever you type on Google, same thing, same type of thought process. So, for example, someone types in Maryville Realtor, near me, whatever. Any profile that is using that specific keyword is going to pop up first because it's a search engine, right? So
can I ask a question?
Yeah,
so
please.
Is that where your hashtags come in?
It can be a hashtag, but it can also, we'll go through this.
Okay.
But, for example, yeah, I got you. For example, some of these keywords, like acupuncture near UT, which if you need somebody, I got you. All of these keywords are things that you can put in your bio. They're things that you can put in your actual content, Okay. So you want to use keywords as, my recommendation for keywords is so out of 100 words, every third word needs, let me rephrase. Out of 100 words, 3 of them need to be keywords. That's my suggestion. It's not going to you don't want people to be like, dog training. I'm a dog training person in Powell, and I love dog training because dog training is amazing and dog training is the only way to go. You don't want to sound like that, but it has to be natural. Again, going back to that branding, how are you speaking? How are you acting to your client? So one of the things that you can do is, like I said, use these keywords in all of your strategies. And the other key point that I love to make here is that whatever keywords you pick for, say, your website or your social media, use them across all your platforms. We want to rank with the same keywords across platforms. So I would recommend doing that. Especially keywords can be your services. They can be your brand name. For me, I'm trying to use J. Rachel West as a keyword, So keywords can be anything that you make them. I feel like you have a question.
No, I'm just thinking.
Cool.
I'm trying to think of what our keywords would be.
Yeah, definitely start brainstorming your keywords, because when we get to the optimization aspect of this class, we're going to be using it. You're going to be using that. So the other really, really, really important key aspect to all of this, besides social media being the beast that it is that Google directly looks at your social media. So if you want to rank higher on Google, you need to be doing this strategy to your social media. This is sending positive signals to Google saying, hey, we're a legit business. Hey, we're real. We know what we're doing. And Google's going to look at that and be like, okay, they're legit. Their website's optimized. Their branding is cohesive. I'm going to rank them higher on my platform. Because you have to keep in mind, Google is a business. Google only wants to connect users. So if I type in a keyword, Google is only going to connect me with research or topics that are relevant to my search. How often do you get a keyword, or how often do you type something in Google and then something completely random pops up? And you're like, why? Stop wasting my time. I didn't ask for that, I don't know. And then you have to retype it, and it's such a nightmare. And, well, for me it is. I'm like, ugh, first world problems. I completely understand that. But again, that puts my impression of Google, that brings my thought of Google down. And Google's like, nah, we don't know. That's why Google is so tough on us small businesses. It's because it wants to make sure that their clients are happy. They don't want us going to Bing or Yahoo or wherever. They want us to stay on their platform. Makes sense, right? Any questions about this? I know this can be a heavy topic. It's a little bit technical, but this, like I said, these keywords, using them is going to help you reach your audience easier, and it's going to help them find you easier as well. Yes.
So I use ChatGPT a lot to say, give me the correct keywords for my site, but something I was sitting here thinking was, maybe I'm not being, do you find that helps or hurts? Because maybe I'm not, okay, we're moving on. Maybe I'm not being specific.
Hey, we're going to brainstorm with AI a little bit. Yeah, we're going to do it. So, great segue there too, by the way. Honestly, she's not a plant, people. This I do not know her, okay? No, AI is a wonderful way to brainstorm. Again, this might not be your bread and butter. I get that, Even for me, I'm like, okay, what services, keywords can I use? I do it too. This list I actually used with ChatGPT to make a point here. But AI is a wonderful way to brainstorm. If you're ever stuck, use it. There's no shame in it. There's no shame in it. And using the resource, again, the marketing strategy, using the resources that are available to you. Nothing wrong with that. These are brainstorming things, though. We are not copying and pasting this to our social media. Yes. We are rewriting whatever ChatGPT gives us. Yes. Okay. Why are we doing that? Google actually knows how ChatGPT writes and will unfortunately mark you down. So,
That was what I was
yes. Yes. So, rewrite everything because again, we want to showcase the human behind the profile. We want to build that connection and be like, hey, I'm a real person. This is what I'm actually doing. We're using keywords to help us tell that story. You know, so it's a flow, it's a process. That's why I'm saying, like, you know, I keep harping. I'm like, we are building our foundations because that's exactly what we're doing. Yes.
Would you copy and paste hashtags, or does it recognize that too?
Do you want my opinion on hashtags, or do you want the answer to that question? Hashtags are dead. Hashtags are dead. You don't, in my opinion. If you use them, I would say 3 at max. And this is actually, I'm not just saying this, like this is actually research that Instagram has put out because of its capabilities of being a search engine. Because it's become more robust in how it handles search engines, that hashtags are kind of becoming obsolete because of how they're changing internally. So if you're still uncomfortable with that thought and you're still like, I still want to use hashtags, do it, you know? This is just my suggestion, but at the end of the day, it's your brand. So do what feels right. And test, have fun. Maybe one post you do 5 hashtags, maybe the next you're doing 3. Look at your engagement. See, you know, I always say benchmark where you're at. Maybe you post today, maybe the next 3 posts, no hashtags. Next week you do 3 posts that have 10. The third week you do, 3. And then that gives you 3 weeks of data to make a data-driven decision on, okay, what do I do next? Again, strategy. It's all based on how we're using the information that we have available to us. Any other questions? Did that help?
Yes.
Cool. And yeah, if you want to use your keywords for hashtags, definitely. Yes.
With the change of all of these social media companies being more robust, do we as business owners have to switch anything on our profiles to say, I want to be a part of those search results?
So that's your keywords. Yep.
But there's not like a turn on, turn off?
No. Oh, yeah. No, I wish. You can pay if you want to become like verified, and that will help you, rank a little bit higher, because Facebook does that now. You can pay to have the blue check. I'm too cheap for that, but I know a bunch of people that do. So again, it depends on how what you're feeling. But keywords are a great way to get in those search results.
The verified.
Yes.
Does being verified help you at all should you get hacked as far as customer support on Facebook and Instagram? There's a local business that got hacked and has lost everything.
Wow.
And it's been a nightmare for her. She wasn't verified. So I was just curious, does that give you some extra level of support from them?
So
to try to help you?
I don't actually know that firsthand, simply because I'm not verified. I would say doing some research in the platform might help, but from my experience with their customer service, it's a no. It's a no.
Yeah, she's lost everything.
That is awful. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
That's really
Anyway, okay,
difficult.
thank you.
Yeah, no. I've unfortunately had fun with Facebook, and you can't reach anybody. That's why anyway, I could go on. I could do a presentation on how on Facebook's customer service. But okay. So if you've never used ChatGPT before, this is what it actually looks like. So I took one of those prompts that I showed you, and this is what it actually pulled up for me. So there are a lot of benefits to it. And again, the other thing is maybe what you type into here is, hey, here are my keywords. Make me a nice LinkedIn headline that, utilizes this keyword, So there's tons of ways that you can brainstorm just from ChatGPT. But again, we're always rewriting, we're always editing, we're always making sure that what ChatGPT says is actually real because it does get stuff wrong. So always be checking. So now we're going to actually go into the optimization part. So this is a great time to get out your phones. I was going to say phone, wallet, keys, but that is definitely not right. Your phones and your laptops, anything that you can do, or any ways that you can edit your profile. And we're going to go step by step. I'm going to walk around. So if at any point you have questions, want me to look at something, like please feel free to stop me. First thing we're talking about is our profile handle. Now, this is something that I see like varies across industries, across all these things. Use your business name, please. Just please use your business name. That's how people are going to be, again, we want that branding aspect. We want that credibility. We want the recognition of your brand. We don't want best floralist in Knoxville because that doesn't tell me anything about you. I want to know your brand. If you have multiple locations and say you want to have a profile for each location, maybe you add, rosefloralshop.knoxville or .maryville or whatever, So there's so many different ways. Maybe you just have two profiles. Maybe you do like a little dash or, whatever that looks like. Use your brand name, please. That's so key. So right now, I want everybody to be looking at their brand name. How are we feeling? Y'all using your business name? Business name?
So I've got a question.
Bring
On
it up.
Facebook, my business name is Ferment Station.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram wouldn't let me use that, so we had to use Station Ferment.
I'd switch. But
I don't know how to switch that.
oh, okay. Well, I can come home.
Okay.
But with that, again, we utilize these these punctuation points. So it's very clear, and maybe that's a space. You put a dot. Whatever that is. Because again, if I don't know you, but if I try to look that up, how am I going to know? I'm going to be like, okay, well, his profile on this page says this, but now it's saying, again, we don't want any confusion. We don't want any confusion across any of our platforms. We want it to be cohesive. Yes.
How do you feel about if it's established already? So I work for Goodwill, and it's pretty established on Facebook, but it's not super established on Instagram. I was supposed to change the name of just one. Probably not a good idea, right?
So when you say change the name, what do you mean, like the handle or? So let me.
I don't have access to the Facebook on my phone, but I have it.
Oh yeah.
I have it on here. It's just because she's.
I understand.
Well,
I
we
understand.
can talk about it. Yeah. So she wants to change the handle
To what?
of something very similar to that, but I think it's Facebook that she wants to change.
My recommendation is to either keep it the same, whatever you decide to do, because right now they're the same.
Yeah,
So that to me is a good strategy.
that's fine.
Yeah, I wouldn't change anything if you want my opinion. Yes.
So this is our Instagram. It is Arts for All TN. How do I tell what it is in here?
May I?
Yeah, please. Excuse the dirty
No,
screen.
apologize. The Wi-Fi down here. Sorry. No, it's not you.
Maybe I'll help somebody else tomorrow.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're good.
Just
Make sure
get me
make
to
sure-
the about page of the profile. Yes.
My full name, you
Yes.
spell out the word and. My URL, well, it's Graceful Art, but on the sign, it's an ampersand.
I like the ampersand.
Okay, on Instagram, it's the AND. Is this going to be a problem if occasionally it's AND and other times, okay, an ampersand?
No.
Okay.
If it was something big, like you left arts out or like the core of your brand, then I would say something. But
Okay,
you know, if it's an and sign or an and, you're fine.
okay.
Because again, when I look at your profile, I know, oh, they just spelled out and, rather than having the ampersand.
Okay. The URL is Grace Hill Art.
So I would change. I would make it cohesive.
Use
So
Grace
if-
Hill Fine Art and Basketry in
excuse
the
me.
URL.
So show me your URL again.
It's my website.
Yeah, let's look at that.
It's Grace Hill Art.
So
I just felt that it was too long to
So-
type out Grace Hill Fine Art and Basketry
So-
for a URL.
would you be, you know, again, this is your brand, but have you considered maybe moving or changing the handle to just your URL name?
Yes.
Change is hard, I know.
So many people though know me as
Yeah.
Grace Hill Fine Art and
And
Basketry.
and when you make the change, especially on Facebook, it alerts everybody that follows you that you've changed your name too. So there's that aspect of it.
Okay.
And you can always post about it. That's a great social media post to say like, hey, we're changing. But again, you think on it, you know?
Okay,
You don't have to do anything today.
Okay.
You know, this is your brand.
Thank you.
You know? Any other questions? Yes. Yes. Sorry, just give me 1 second. I'm going to prompt them to the next one. All right, we're going to move on. Let's start talking about our profile picture. So we want to make sure our profile picture, I like it to be a cohesive across the board. So all my social media channels, you'll see the same picture right now. And if you want, use your logo, but make sure it's the same logo across all of your platforms. So I encourage you right now, look at all of your platforms, make sure it's the same profile picture across everything. All right?
Are you going to talk about LinkedIn specifically?
Yeah, I'm not going through them specifically, but there is a slide on it, but I can come to you.
This is what it tells me every time I put in Thermal Station. And that's what our name is on.
So try using, may I?
Yeah. I did. You just taught me something.
You might have to put the, is it,
Isn't that weird?
we might need to connect after class.
Okay.
If that's okay.
yeah.
Yeah, because we can look into that. How are we doing? Everybody?
Can I ask you one question about profile handle?
Yes.
So my business is Bloom Functional Wellness. My handle is Heal It Bloom everywhere, and so is my website.
I would stick to so which one do you resonate with, branding wise?
That's difficult.
I know.
Because this gives me like specifically like how I think I'm identified as.
Well, and here's the thing: if that's your business name, but this is
my business name. And this is everything else. That's my handle. That's my
Okay.
website. That's my Facebook.
yeah, I mean, if that's what you're going for, maybe, I mean, honestly, again, you don't have to do anything today, but I would consider how can we make it
The same.
the same. But again, it doesn't, just because you have it, your handle, you still can talk about it here. Maybe instead of like functional medicine, it's the name of your business, or like there's so many ways, you know?
Okay.
And the thing is, test around and see what works,
Okay.
you know?
Okay.
Like-
I was listening to you going, oh no.
No,
far
like,
in.
no, right? It's
website domain.
No.
Change every.
No, if your so just like a little feedback here. If your website URL domain is one thing, I know how expensive domains can be. So instead of changing your domain name, try to see if you can tailor your profiles to match your domain. So again, it's that consistency, and you don't have to do anything right now. And maybe if you want to test and see what works, test and see what works, you know? This is your business. You have full control here. Sorry? Oh, yeah, okay. All right, so next we're gonna look at our cover images. Are we using branded cover images? Are they, you know, for mine, I put a little bit about me and my services, but maybe it's just a picture of you in action, of you working, whatever that is. Make sure it tells the story of who you are, what you do, who you serve, all of those things, right? So let's look at our profile or our cover images. Review what you have, see what's working.
So we have two separate companies. We have Broadway Center for the Arts,
Okay.
Children's Theater Company.
Oh,
And then we
nice.
have Arts for All, which is a nonprofit where we try to raise funds to do sensory-friendly shows and have
Love
kids with
it.
special needs participate.
Love it.
So here's Arts for All. So it's Arts for All TN on
Mhm.
Instagram. How do I figure out what it is on Facebook? Because honestly, I don't know. They are linked.
Okay.
And see, our website is Arts for All TN.
Yeah. There is a way. There's a way to like share. I want to share the, you know, there's normally like a click here to share the profile. Okay.
I don't want to like steal all your time. There's like other people here.
Can I go here? And then can we search for Arts for All?
Sure. Yeah.
How are we doing with our cover image? We doing good?
Can you get a second? Can you come over here?
Yes.
Thank you.
I needed to do this later. Okay. Yeah. Because normally it'll pop up like right here when you're not like, so if I looked it up, I'd be able to tell. Yes.
So this is our picture now, but I want to change it to this.
Yes. Yes.
So how do I get it on there? This is in my photos.
May I?
Yes.
So do you go company to company and do this, or you just work for the state?
Neither. I have my own business. And then I actually went to small business development for help myself. And then I just told him, I was like, hey, I do a bunch of talks. Do you want me to do one? And they were like, yeah, sure. So this is like my 5th talk with them. Yeah. Does your Facebook have full access to your profile or your pictures?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's why we're here.
Yeah, so normally, let's see. Yeah, so normally there's a section. The reason why I'm saying that is because there's a section that should link to what's on this phone's
So go
pictures.
on
It's your settings.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can find that.
yeah, perfect. Yeah, no worries. And then I can come back after that. All right, let's move to the next section. This is the bio and about section. This is where we're going to use our keywords. So here's a great example. If you do custom cakes, helping Knoxville brides design custom wedding cakes, keyword custom wedding cakes, locally made and family owned. Again, that could be a keyword. Order online. You're telling them exactly what you want them to do. You have to tell people what they want to do or they will, second guess and not do it. So what I want you to do is start working on your bio right now. Start working on your about section. This is going to be really good. Again, at JRW Consulting, that's a keyword. I build foundations for brands. I'm trying to make that a keyword. In East Tennessee, I'm telling my location now. I'm using local SEO to again say, hey, this is where you can find me. Marketing, so in East Tennessee with marketing strategy, keyword, brand alignment, keyword, visibility campaigns, keyword. But you see, it tells the story. It's not, you know, unless now everybody, now don't look, now you'll know it's all keywords. But you know, that's what you want to do. That's how you want to be. So start writing your keywords, or excuse me, your bios with your keywords. I'll be around to help if you need anything. But again, brainstorms, test, see what works, what doesn't work. This is a great opportunity for you to, you know, send a screenshot and send it to your friend, or send it to your coworker and say, hey, is this landing? Does this work? Would you do what I've said to do, you know? It doesn't always have to. So, great question. So the question over here was, should our bio and the about section match across platforms? No. The reason I say that is because my LinkedIn profile, this goes back to tailoring our profiles depending on what platform we're using. So my LinkedIn, I'm going to use a little bit more professional, you know, I'm going to use a little bit more like, you know, my 2 degrees type of verbiage. But on my Facebook, I'm like, nah, I'm like a little builder. I build foundations, you know? So it's a little bit more casual. It's a little bit more laid back. So what I want you to do is pick one platform right now to work on, or work on your bio right now, that then you can have that as the standard, that you then create one for your Facebook. Then you create one for your Instagram, or you create one for your LinkedIn, but have that standard, again, have that foundational about page or about section. Yeah? Did that answer that?
I did.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And the handle will be, it's wherever we can share the page. It's somewhere.
Okay.
Oh, we just gotta. Were you able to get the settings? Yay! Okay, awesome. And did it work?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. You're so welcome.
Okay, other than at the county where my legal name is spelled out and across all of this, I use an ampersand.
Okay.
Except Instagram right here. If I go in and change that, you said it won't screw up my whole Instagram account. How do I get here to change that?
So that, if you'll scroll down a little bit.
Here.
Oh, thank you. Let's see. Oh, no, I hit the wrong button. Why will it not? It should be right here. Do you have it on your phone? Because we can for sure change it on your phone.
I'll try.
Okay. And if not, we can look at a different way to access it. Yes.
Question. My pictures are all the same.
Yeah, great.
I just wonder, I probably could put health and wellness educator and speaker, because this is kind of saying the same thing. But I'm not really talking about that I'm helping people
Exactly.
activate their stem cells and or earn
Right.
income. So
I mean, you do so much.
I need to
I see
put that
me
in
me knowing you and what you do. I don't think that tells the story.
no, it doesn't. I
You
just don't know
know?
how to tell the story. I mean,
Well,
it's in my bio, the
yeah.
story, but
But
it's
again,
not grabbing their attention.
you have that bio, so you use ChatGPT. Say, this is my bio. What LinkedIn headliners would you recommend? Yeah,
you. I'll do
try that. Try that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes.
Business, like, is that okay? Is it better to do Instagram and Facebook
Oh, no, I love
individually?
Business
Okay,
Suite.
Business Suite.
Love her.
Okay. And then what do we have on LinkedIn? Did you have a question on LinkedIn?
Oh, if you have already a LinkedIn account, like a personal account, and then you create a business, do you attach the business to your account, or do you change their account name, or do you create a separate account?
Should you have both, or should you have your name with your business listed?
So I have two accounts. I have a business LinkedIn and then I have a personal LinkedIn. And so they're not like
Connected.
they're not connected.
Okay.
But I'll tag each I'll be like, "Oh, our founder went and did this to whatever,
Okay. Me? Not me. I mean,
We worked so hard, on this presentation. Yeah. Yes. Honestly, what I'll do is I'll do that a lot. I'll be like, it's an employee appreciation.
How long should it be? Should it be 2-3 sentences? Should it be 4-5 sentences?
Which platform are you specifically talking about?
Instagram.
Instagram, what I like to do, and I can give you, what I would do.
This is my Insta. And they're different, both my
Mm-hmm.
Insta and my Facebook. But this is a shorter version
Yep.
of that.
Yeah. So my suggestion, think about readability. How are people going to
Because this has got a lot of keywords.
words? But how can you break it up? How can you, maybe it's adding an emoji to show like, hey, this is the next bullet point. Instead of a bullet point, maybe you're using an emoji. Use paragraphs. Give that space a little bit. Because even though you have character, use all the characters you have, but be strategic about it. Think about, hey, if somebody comes to this profile, how are they going to actually read it? Say it out loud, read it. Like, have me read it or somebody read it that doesn't know what you do.
Be shorter.
It doesn't
short,
necessarily,
sweet, to the point.
I mean, it doesn't always have to be, but think about visually. Where do the eyes go? Where do they read first? What do they see first? And that'll help you tailor the message that you bring, right? And it'll be different across platforms. And I have a slide on that too. You can take a picture, but how to tailor it across platforms. But that's why I think it's important to start with that foundational, like, this is again, going back to that branding, this is the core of who I am. This is who I help. Like, you are so solid in who you are. Now we're moving into that marketing strategy of like, all right, how are we going to build a bio that actually conveys everything that I know so deeply about myself and my business,
Sure.
And play around with
That was
it.
a passionate answer.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, moving on. If you have any questions, please let me know about that the last slide, but I want to make sure we're on time. Perfect. I'll come back to you. All right, we want to look at our links now. This is a screenshot from my Facebook picture, or from my Facebook profile, but you'll see this on all of my profiles. Are you using the links that you have available to you? Facebook, I mean, I feel like you can put like 9 million links on your Facebook profile. So do it, How are you going to have people go? Where are you going to send people? What's the desired action you want them to do? Maybe this is for them to find out more information. Maybe this is to look across your profiles and see, hey, I have different content. For example, my YouTube is mostly these talks that I do. So it's very educational based. But on my TikTok, or not my TikTok, on my Instagram and Facebook, you'll see more of my personality. So, you might see a cat picture here and there. You might see me at a Vols game, whatever. So I'm showing my personality differently. I'm showing up differently depending on the platform that I am on. So let's utilize those links, yeah? Maybe that's to your website. Maybe that's directly to a checkout page. Maybe that's to a link tree where, that holds all of your links. Maybe it's to a free download. Maybe it's to whatever. You have full control over where these links go. So make sure you're using them, right? Questions about links? No? Great, let's move on. Oh, sorry, yes.
Like overload, what's your recommendation? Like when you said, a checkout page or like the most action driven one, like you're saying it's up to the entrepreneur, but really like what's going to overwhelm your customer base if you have all the same social media or actions to take? What do you recommend? Is like
Sure. So if that's, I know a lot of people that use Linktree. They love it because it's a great way to organize your actual links and it's just user friendly as well. So with the link tree, it'll be listed like, hey, if you want my new ebook, click here. If you want, if you're ready to take the next step and you want to, I don't know, build your foundation or whatever, like take the next, this is, yeah. Yeah. So you have that flexibility. With this, for my link specifically, I just want people to go to my social media and see who I am. Like everything I do is based on relationships. So I want to give people as much information about who I am and who I am on different platforms, because that's each a different version of Rachel. And I want everybody to know that, All right, contact information. This again is really important. How are people going to get in touch with you? If you don't have a link, if you don't have a contact information, if you don't have it set up to where people can DM you on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, you've got people blocked. How are people going to reach you? Like, that's a genuine question. So what are we going to do? For me, I don't have a business phone yet. That is a part of my foundation I'm still working on. And I don't have an office space yet. So I only list my email because that's the way I want people to reach out to me. You don't have to give them everything just because you have all the information, Be strategic. Your phone is the most intimate way somebody can get in contact with you. Are you sure you want random people to have your personal phone number? I say no. So I am using exclusively my email. Yeah? And if you have my personal phone number, you're lucky. I got you. All right. So make sure this is up to date. Make sure your links are actually working. Make sure the phone number you have is the right phone number. Make sure the 1 isn't reversed with the 3, whatever. Be strategic with how you show up. And because I love you all, I wanted to throw in a little bonus of actual content. So this is not necessarily about our profiles other than the type of content that we show up using. How do we optimize our content? Again, we're using our keywords here. We're using keywords to really talk about, hey, this is what I do, this is how I think. We're using that SEO strategy to further our storytelling. We're using good content methods. Maybe we're educating, maybe we're informing, maybe we're entertaining. Whatever the goal of that post is, we're making sure we do it. For example, on my TikTok, I was like, wow, what a crazy marketing strategy for Taylor Swift to have 12 different wax figures in 13 different, crazy, And so using my understanding of marketing and branding and all of that thing to portray how a cool moment that was for her brand. So content and your expertise can come out in random places. See how you can use those interconnected skills. And then this is an actual example from me of this method being used. So one of the things I did, I talked a little bit about how I think my phone is the most intimate place possible. This actually goes along with it because I went through my, my once a decade deleting people that I don't even talk to anymore. What I realized, summarizing this post, what I realized is I was holding on to a bunch of contacts because I was afraid that I wasn't going to be good enough in my own business. Like, hey, let me keep this contact that I met 5 years ago from networking because the guy told me once that he would be happy to give me an application. Okay, why am I keeping that? That was 5 years ago. Delete. And so what I realized was I was holding on to all these contacts. Literally those people were, not people, but those numbers were literally holding me down and preventing me from moving into the next step of my business because I was internally so afraid, what would happen if I don't have this person in my contact, So I made this a post. I started with the hook. This is going to sound like an 09. If you see this, it means we're still friends because that's relatable, right? Everybody knows what I'm saying. And then I use storytelling as a way to further what I just told you. Hey, I've been feeling this way. I've been keeping these people, in my phone just in case, whatever. And I end it with a takeaway. And you'll see this strategy used across my profiles. My takeaway, my lesson, I always bring it back to my business. no matter where the story goes, no matter what I talk about, I always bring it back to my business and the lesson that I'm learning. And then of course, my CTA, my post purpose, whatever the goal of that post was. This entire thought process came because I was a part of a program with my friend Tiffany Lewis, and she kind of inspired me to go through this process. And so I wanted to, my goal for this was to highlight how freaking amazing that was for me and for her, you know? So your posts can do magic. It really can, you know? And again, this was part of my strategy. I realized, going back to my foundation, that my social media was nowhere near where I needed it to be. I saw that gap in my business. How did I make a strategy around it? I started telling stories. That's what I did. My strategy was telling stories. And I used this as a way to further not only my credibility online, but I'm highlighting my friends, I'm telling different stories, and I'm bringing people into my message. This is the key. This is how you go from just posting to actually having engagement, actually having conversations with people. These are conversation starters. Don't you want that? You want people in your inbox. You want people to be like, hey, I really resonated with your story. Hey, so glad you resonated with it. Let's grab coffee. Let's see how we can, what can we talk about together? How can we commiserate together about 09? Whatever that looks like. Get people in your inbox, keep them there. That's content. Your profiles bring people in. Your content is what keeps them there. I would recommend taking a picture of this because this is a snapshot of everything that we've talked about. Okay, wait. Janet, you've always got me on par. How are we feeling right now? Are we feeling like this is a really good start to something? Because that's where I want you to be. I want you to be at that point where you're like, I have some information and tools that I can use across all my platforms too. Awesome. So I would also take a picture of this if you want. These are some more, not advanced, but just additional strategies that you can use within your social media. Pin featured content. If you've got a post that is like, this tells the whole story of my brand, like this piece of content is amazing, make sure you're pinning it. That will take it to the top of your profile. Add keywords, not too much, but just enough to make sure you're ranking. Engage with your audience, review what you're doing. It's time consuming, but this is the strategy.
You have an amount of times per day, per week to post.
Yeah.
Because depending on what kind of business you are, if you're video content creating or you're affiliate selling, it's going to depend on how many times you want to do that. So is there a...
Well, you answered the question.
Okay.
It depends on the business you're in. For me, I post once a day because that's just the frequency that I'm in. But if you're a news outlet, you're going to be posting every single hour, every single minute.
Do you stay with what you posted and repost it until you have something new if it is getting the likes and getting the comments on it, or would you go to something next?
What do you mean, like reposting the same content? I personally love new content. Okay. Now, repurposing content, so, like your bio, hey, I'll take a little bit of here, maybe I'll make it a post here, or maybe I'll use it as a story. So I'm a big fan of repurposing content, but I'm not a fan of just reusing the same thing over and over again. It's your audience is going to be like, why am I coming back? Like if it's the same, I'm so tired of this post, that's kind of, you want to emotionally feel how your audience is. Because when you're attuned to that, that's how you're going to make a strategy, right? You're going to know who they are, what they like, their dislikes, how they want to, yeah, exactly. Yes.
I was waiting for this to come up. Just barely did just now. What is your thoughts on stories? Because they disappear.
Yeah, so you can actually make them highlights on your profiles. So I would do that. If it's something that really resonates with you, definitely make a story about it. Think of those story highlights as categories to, or not categories, folders. So for mine, I'm again, this is a crack in my foundation I'm working on, but my stories are like me, my travels, and then like my clients, and then I think I have one for my cat. Like we all start somewhere, right? We all have to. It's a process, but yeah. So now with kind of my rebranding, I'm going to be doing like the brand alignment, because that's a key pillar. Marketing strategy, and then targeted visibility. So those are going to be eventually my 3 pillars, because again, I'm using keywords. I'm using the organization of my content. So it's going to be way easier for people to be like, hey, I'm just interested in, if I just need brand help. I'm going to go through that story to see how she's helping. Yes. Oh, I love it.
Do you find it helpful that like if you don't come up with a lot of content, that you can find something that you're
Absolutely.
passionate about or something?
Absolutely. For me, I like on my Insta. So the question was the reposting that is kind of new-ish on Instagram. I love that thing because for one, I get to highlight all of my clients' posts through that. So anytime my clients post, I hit that repeat or the reshare button. I get to show that I'm championing them. It helps me with my content. So yeah, utilize that. Share content. It doesn't always have to be yours. Anytime a client shares something, I'm posting it. Yes.
Like, for example, not for just a business, like if I had Instagram, can someone go to my page and see someone reposted?
They
I
can.
just found out about this like last week.
Yeah. So there's a tab now. So it's like how it's and then it's your reels. You can hide it if you want. But again, if it's a business profile, I would not recommend to hide it. I would use that feature, And then I know we're running out of time. I just again wanted to quickly give you a little snapshot. This is my 5 bullet points on how to optimize per these 4 platforms. We've touched on it a little bit, but again, you want to make sure you're tailoring your brand and your business based on the platform you're using. Does not have to be a lot, but again, you just want to make sure you're using your profiles to your best ability. Take up all that space. Use all the characters if you want, because you have it. That's free advertising. Your social media profiles are basically your own custom advertising channels. So yeah, use it to the best of your ability, right? Again, just a quick little recap. Showing up online is building your credibility, plain and simple. It's showing people and Google that you're active, that you're active, that you're real, that you are ready for the traffic that Google is going to give you. SEO, using that into your strategy. It's going to help people find you faster. And then your consistency, your content, your profile is what's going to keep people there. And little updates go a long way. Like I said, I'm still working on my social media channels. It's a constant process. Where you are right now is where you're exactly meant to be, because you are here because you realized, hey, I have a problem I'm wanting to fix it, right? Take a small step. No matter where you go, just take it. And then again, make sure you're telling people about it. Ask a peer to help you. Continue to optimize. Listen to constructive feedback, and only get feedback from people that actually know what they're talking about. If you get feedback from like a random person at a gas station, great, but how is that actually going to help you move forward? So be really concise and aware of who you're asking feedback from. And it's not about perfection. It never is. I wish it could be perfect. I wish my profiles could be perfect and I didn't have to lift a finger. But no, I'm progressing towards always making one update at a time. Doesn't matter what the update is, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure it out because that's how people are going to trust me. That's how people are going to find me. And that's how people are going to know my social media profiles are optimized. So thank you all again so much for being here. If you have any questions or comments, I'll stick around for a little bit. I'm going to get with you. But yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know. Oh.
Sorry.
Yes.
I just had a question about LinkedIn. So it's typically like more of a corporate, like career geared app. So is there value for like a small business to do that? Because I never see really like small business posts like kind of like Instagram or something.
Can I ask what you do?
I do dumpster rental.
Do you connect with a lot of like professionals? Are you reaching out to, businesses to do their dumpster rentals or?
Yeah.
So then I would probably suggest having a LinkedIn because that's another way you can build professional.
But what do you post on there? Like?
Oh, sorry. So actual content strategy for that. Yeah. So with that, again, I would be talking about who you are. Who do you serve? How do you serve? How are people going to know what services you offer unless you actually tell people? Utilize your profile to, and again, if you're on LinkedIn, make it all very much like, hey, if you're in a corporate setting and you're renovating and you need a dumpster, hit me up,
So could you just do like same post that you do for like Instagram and just duplicate that to LinkedIn?
You can, but I would recommend that you change it to the target audience that you're going to find on LinkedIn, which is going to be your professional networking. It's a professional networking site. So keep that in mind when you're posting. The other aspect is, if this doesn't align with you, don't be on the platform. You don't have to be on every single platform. Pick the ones that you want to be on where your target audience is at and do it to the best of your ability, If you're going to be the best dumpster person on LinkedIn, be the best person, That's by utilizing your content strategy. That's by utilizing your profile optimization, all of those things. So.
Rachel, thank you. That was awesome. Again, you will get a survey after this class. Once you complete the survey, you'll get a copy of this presentation deck. Saw a lot of phones out taking pictures. That's great. But again, if you want to complete that, please complete our survey. I want to thank everyone that showed up today. It was a fantastic class, fantastic content. If you don't already, subscribe to our TSBDC newsletter, and you'll see other upcoming classes, and look forward to seeing you at another class in the near future. Hope everybody has a great rest of the week. Yes, and if you have not signed in on your way out, if you would sign in. And go Vols, beat Bama.
Go Vols.